what a just captivating pivot from where we've been. I mean, that riff is a freaking melody if I've ever heard one. Ooh, just a lot to dissect here. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Low End University. Affliction is from AFI's 7th studio album, December Underground, released in 2006. And I've learned quite a lot about this band just from you guys, especially regarding how pivotal this album was for the band. By all accounts, it was quite a breakout album. It debuted at #1, but I read it was also a very polarizing album within the band's fan base. And personally, I formed an opinion on the band just from one song, Miss Murder. I mean, that song was everywhere for a while. But that all changed when you guys turned me on to this side of the band. I fell in love with it. I couldn't believe how different it sounded. I loved the bass lines, the vocals, the riffs, all of it. Very unique sound. But a lot of you were vocal about the fact that this album still had some quality stuff on it worth checking out, and that I should not skip over it. So without further ado, let's jump in and check it out and compare. This is Affliction from AFI. It's cooking. What a really bold bass line to come out of the gates with. And what I know about the limited amount of AFI I've heard so far is that they've always had just really dense arrangements, like very clever use of vocal harmonies and kind of the places they stack them. The riffs are always interesting. And I think what drew me into them early on, hearing some of this earlier stuff, is how bassist Hunter Burgan can inject these really busy bass lines, but it still sound completely perfect. It never sounds like it's too much, because there's 1,000 other scenarios where he could have just ridden on that root note down here in A flat. But man, it's going up the scale. It's using chromaticism. It's almost like a fast, I'm going to use the word again, gurgle. It's been a few videos since we've had a good gurgle. Gurgle is just my unofficial term for chromatic bass lines that are linking together octaves or maybe going up an arpeggio, you know, this type of sound. That kind of thing. So he's kind of got a bit of that flavor here. Something in there, but based around that minor pentatonic. And then the guitar is kind of doing these slow, not slow, but just static bar to bar, shifting pitches to create this maybe a bit of a tritone sound in there, but it's got some tension. And despite this sounding dense, the guitars are kind of leaving him the room to do that. So not sure how much he'll continue this energy throughout the song, but let's just hear the opening again. Really like that. Walking up the scale there. Nice little fill to bring it into the next section. Love that. All right. Perfect. Perfect place for a major 5, landing on that E flat major. Back to where we've been. Talk about major 5s all the time, and they're always impactful. They're the most tense part of a chord progression because it's got a lot of tension of it that wants to resolve to just that half step away. But sometimes when a band will put a lot of other tense chordal moves behind it, it just makes it that much more impactful. Again, really bold bass stuff happening here in this chorus. This must be where it gets a little more poppy, accessible, more hooky type of chorus going on, because we had some harsh vocals leading up to it. And still in the chorus. He's cooking, outlining stuff. I can hear it moving around. I can't pick out some of the notes super well. Let me hear it one more time. But it keeps that energy from the intro going despite being in a more accessible part of a song. Again, that's a tough feat to pull off sometimes because the chorus is where we usually simplify, we get out of the way. And again, he could have easily just written on a... But he's still got that kind of gurgly approach happening. It's just keeping the energy really high. All right. Cool. Ooh, a lot of gold there. Yeah, he's kind of just hitting a note in the scale, going down one, and then going one more up, and then two more down, and just kind of walking it back up to the B major, which is where this chorus starts. So kind of like this. That kind of thing. Almost like a scale in thirds, if you will. You know, like a... But just kind of going up. And then here on the F sharp, the second chord in the chorus, almost sounds like he's just kind of moving a box shape down or something. It's kind of like this in reverse. So kind of like a... I mean, just love it. Wow. All right, one more time. All that stuff. Perfect. All right. Cool. Brought that back from earlier. End of this kind of bass intro part, we're going to call it. Bass did it just by himself early on. Now the guitar's joined in. All this little intentional stuff to just build energy is a big part of it. Man, this riff is such... It's just so full of energy. Same type of thing here. So it's not super improvised. It's thought out. This is the exact thing he did in the last chorus. Not going to get the exact notes down. I know I get lambasted for that sometimes. I'm just trying to get a rough sketch of the parts to get my head around how he's approaching them. But it's sort of like a... down to the E. So it's almost like out of this 4-chord progression, we have B, F sharp, E, A flat. 4-chord progression here in the chorus, I believe. On the B, the first chord, he kind of just rides it. Then on the second chord, he does the movement. And then the third chord, I think he's just riding the E. And then on the fourth chord, he walks back up to B. So you have like A, B, A, B, which gives it a nice flow. You can kind of hear that outlined here. I like that. I like that type of storyboarding with the bass part. All right. Little things like that too. This is genius songwriting stuff. Same thing we've had earlier. The major 5 wraps up that whole progression. But they really rode on it. It's like even more tense now. This is a masterclass on just tension and resolve. Perfect. You just feel it. Yeah. This is very cool. What a just captivating pivot from where we've been. It's got this halftime, and they're putting this right after that really elongated major 5. And then it resolves into this just sludgy, very lyrical riff. I mean, that riff is a freaking melody if I've ever heard one. Ooh, just a lot to dissect here. They have ear candy in every song I've heard. Yeah, this little bass part. Oh, that's tasty. Let's see, what was it? Was it that bluesy? Woo! I hear that again. Oh, perfectly placed. It's a really sinister riff, too. All that layering. Man, I really like this. Of course, I started talking right on that interesting chord. What was that? Woo! I've gotten really granular on stuff. Let me hear it one more time and we'll keep it going, but that was a very colorful chord thrown in here. Let's see. Some sort of... I'll get granular again. Cool. Oh, was that the end? I thought that was the end. Okay, sorry about that. That kind of threw me off. I wasn't sure if there was more song, but it was about 2 minutes of kind of a electronic interlude that's probably going into the next track. But nonetheless, I didn't really get to gush about that last part. The bass joined in on that riff they keep bringing back, but they saved it for the very last time for just all-out energy. And that is my favorite thing about this band. They have a lot of dense layering, but they are so clever in how they use it. A lot of bands that go for that dense kind of sound, a lot of them will come out of the gates and kind of show you all of it. Like the song starts kind of big. They kind of show you every layer, and then they'll pull it back for verse 1 and then slowly build it up. That's cool too, but what I like about this song is they started with a dense kind of pummeling bass line and everything going on, and they slowly added things. Like they leaned into that major 5 chord, and then the second chorus out of that, it was a bit longer. Then they kind of leaned into that sound a lot when that sinister riff happened. And then they slowly brought it back to the energy of the intro, and then the bass joined in unison, and the song was out. That's just genius songwriting stuff. And I know I'm always talking about bass lines, that's why I'm here, but sometimes it's really damn fun to just pull back the curtain on a song and just go, why is this so good? Now, about this newer sound, I like that a lot more than Miss Murder. I'm very familiar with how that song goes. This reminded me a bit of their older sound, and I know this was still almost 20 years ago, but you can hear that kind of transition to the more produced and polished sound coming from a song like Sacrifice Theory, which was the last one I did that was pretty raw. But I think the core riff writing styles are still there. They just have some more bells and whistles. So this album might have a ton of things I really like. I don't know. But let me know what you guys think. I really read into the comments a lot on the previous AFI videos about a lot of fans being disappointed they went more of this direction. Of course, they've had several albums since December Underground. But I have a lot to get to with this band. I've liked everything I've heard, so let me know what I should do next. And I appreciate you guys hanging out with me today. If you'd like to support the channel further, please come find us over on Patreon. I do full albums each month over there. It's been quite the blast. And I have lessons and music theory lessons and such if you want to learn from me in that way. And if you enjoyed this, please make sure you're subscribed. I love you all. We'll see you in the next one.